Howdy folks, Tyler here from the Editing Bay, here to say this video is sponsored by Skillshare. Skillshare is an online web-based platform where creators can get together and take their next step or their first step in their creative journey. More on that to come. Let's hop into the video. I'm excited. You know why? Because that right there is the lake. And that right there is where I'm going with this thing for the very first time. Let's go! It is getting hot outside, which for January in Texas means one thing: biggins are moving shallow. So we have backed ourselves down the ramp, gone through the whole process of getting oil into the engine by pumping the bulb, and then my friend Chase, a longtime friend of mine, used to guide on Lake Athens. He is dumping me in the water. So nice of him. We're gonna go catch some fish. So here is the deal so far. The boat breaking process is going great. Now, what do I mean by boat breaking? What the heck does that mean, Tyler? Well, the Yamaha engine back there has to be what's called broken in, which has something to do with the seals and the gas and the oil. I don't know all the details behind it, but all I know is that there's a certain process I must follow in order to properly break in my boat. And so that's what I'm doing. In the first hour on my engine, the first hour that it runs, I have to stay under 2,000 RPMs and kind of vary the RPMs, which is what you guys saw in that little B-roll shot there. Then hour 2 is, I think, getting on plane, but just barely staying on plane and driving, kind of varying RPMs a little bit for an hour. And then hours 3 through 10, to complete the break-in process. You can basically do whatever you want. You just can't run wide open throttle for more than like a minute or two, and you can't stay at a certain RPM for more than 5 minutes. So you gotta kind of, 50 miles an hour, 35, 45, 60, 25. You gotta really vary your miles per hour, which of course varies your RPMs as well. But we're gonna stop right now before it gets windy. And we're gonna take my old Trex trolling motor and connect it to the heading sensor. That way spot lock works perfectly. So let's head up on the front deck. Now I promise we're gonna get to fishing, folks, here in a second, all right? There's just always a few things that when you have a brand new boat that you must do in order to make sure that everything functions properly. And after we fix the trolling motor, put a few more minutes on the engine, I say we catch some fish. So we gotta drive the boat in 2 complete circles. So let's see how this goes. Please perform sensor offset. Sensor offset, what does that mean? This is confusing. All right, gonna make our first cast in the new boat. But we're gonna make sure that our first cast is at a fish that I see on my graph. That way, we can say that I caught a fish on my first cast of 2021 and my first cast in the new boat. That'll be cool to say. If that can even happen, we'll see. Aha! There's a fish. That away. About 40 feet out. That cast was probably too far. Fish is down in 12 feet of water. That was a horrible cast, Tyler. That was not the way to start 2021. And that fish has now sucked to the bottom. And there he is again. We're gonna count this as cast 1 because the first cast was a botch. All right, well, didn't get one on the first cast. We tried. Okie doke, well, Alabama rig didn't work. How about chatterbait? Nothing here. Move along. Gonna make the switch to a lipless crankbait. It is that time of year, Yeehaw. So I really wanted to begin 2021 with a bang, catching a big one. But you know what? For the sake of this video, I just gotta catch fish. I'm a little out of my groove. Have to admit, I haven't bass fished in, I think, 24 days, which is pretty crazy for a fishing YouTuber, but I just had a lot going on. had the wedding happen, had the honeymoon. My best friend, roommate Sean, got married. We had to move into a new apartment. It was a lot of back-to-back-to-back things. And to compound on top of all that, I didn't have a boat. And so bank fishing in Texas in December, January is not, you know, ideal. You can still catch them, but it's not easy to make content out there this time of year. And so I finally got all the pieces back together. We moved in, got a new boat. As you see, I'm standing on here today and got to get my mind right, my body right. It definitely feels weird to snag some grass. I feel like I'm getting bites when I'm not. Just gonna take some getting used to again. But I'm pumped. Just gotta catch a few today. A few fish for you guys. There's one. There's one on the old red-eye shad. Is it big? It doesn't feel small. I'm gonna give him another hook set. It like barely nipped at it. Oh, that one's not bad. That one's not bad. First fish of 2021 is a nice one. It's a nice fatty. It's a fatty McFatster. Bring it in the boat. Yes, sir. Look at this fish. Look at the first fish of 2021 in the brand new Skeeter. Chill. Goodness, I know you didn't get your energy out. Ooh, that is a beautiful first fish of 2021 right there. Beautiful on the red-eye shad. So that fish was shallower than I thought they were going to be. Now the water, of course, is warmer on this side of the lake because it's not windy. And so with the sun that we had today, the water is actually all the way up to, well, it says 52. Right back there, it was like 53 and a half. So it's probably around 53 degrees around here. And these fish are prime pre-spawn, getting ready to spawn. And again, that fish was not hooked by much. Very lucky to get that one in the boat. But we're gonna get a selfie, post this one on the gram, and keep going. Let's go. And this year I've vowed to do a better job of weighing my fish, just so that you guys can see all those stinking lunks I catch. I'm just kidding. I just want to weigh them so I know how much they weigh when I tell my buddies. Oh, that was not good. Hey, 3.16 pounds, a 3-pounder as my first fish in the brand new boat. Man, if they can all average 3 pounds, that will be fantastic. So thank you, buddy. Go off to swim another day. All right, so I committed a cardinal sin in springtime grass bass fishing, and that is I did not cast right back where I caught that fish. But of course, it was my first one of the year. I'm excited. I'll cast back in the general area. Can't guarantee that I'll catch one there, but that's usually what you want to do, is cast right back in there. So that fish was shallower than I thought he'd be. He was probably in like 4 foot of water. If I'm in 5 here, yeah, he's probably in 4.5, so pretty cool. I guess I'm just gonna burn the bank with the lipless crankbait here. This fish was right on the outside of of what's called a ditch, so or a drain, and I'll show you guys what that looks like here on the map. You know, Main Lake Point right here that feeds into what would be a creek on a real, you know, reservoir, but this is just like a flooded lake. And so you have just kind of a ditch running right there into the back where they're going to spawn. And I caught that fish right here on the point leading into the ditch. So that is a classic pre-spawn pattern. The more you get into the springtime, of course, the more those fish will move themselves shallower into that ditch or that drain, whatever you want to call it. That's grass. And if you got a cold front that moves its way through, of course, it may take those fish that were working their way in and it may push them back out to the point. They may suspend out in front of the grass, but that's a really good place as soon as your water gets into the 50s for those fish to start moving to and for you to start targeting. And so you may be wondering, how do you find a grass edge? I think I'm going to discuss that in a video by itself, but with electronics, of course, I can just scan around with my live scope and find the edge of the grass down there. But without electronics, let's say you're in a boat with no electronics or you're just fishing the bank, I mean, it's common sense. You cast to one area, you don't get any grass on your lure. You cast to the other, you get a lot on your lure, and you kind of go back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, until you finally find that area in the middle where the fish most likely are. I'm not saying they're always on the edge of the grass, but in my experience, most of the time, no matter the season, that's where the fish are going to be positioning because it's an ambush point for them. And so, you know, when it comes to springtime, spawning, they're probably up on the flat. In wintertime, they're gonna be a little bit farther off, but it still makes sense to find that grassline area, and it usually mimics exactly what the shoreline shows. So here we got shoreline going flat this way and curving into the ditch. So the grass line is a flat of grass up there and no grass out here, so the line but usually mirrors what you see on the shore. Not always. There's tons and tons of areas underwater that are different than what the shore looks like, but that's a good starting point, I'd say, if you don't have electronics to look at, as I do. Now, the interesting thing about this is that this is in fact not mirroring the shore. It kind of comes out a little bit like this and then makes a more sharp turn in more toward the middle of the pocket in there. So gonna keep working our way toward the middle to find that grass line. There's one. Gosh dang it. He came back for it. He came back for it. I think he's big. Gosh dang. Oh, he popped off. Man. Oh, there's nothing I could do about that. Gosh. Hate that. Man. That was a big one. Alrighty, well, we know what they're doing. They're eating a lipless crankbait on the point. This was on a point, the other point from that side where the drain was. So we're just gonna keep hopping a few more points before the day is done. You just can't always get them all on the boat. You know one thing you can succeed at, and that is making yourself a better and more well-rounded creator. Now Tyler, what is the best way to do that, you ask? Well, it's Skillshare. Skillshare is an awesome web-based learning platform where millions of creators like you and me have come together to learn and take their next step or their first step in their creative journey. The Skillshare platform is made up of thousands of instructional courses to help you guys become better and more intuitive creators. The majority of classes on Skillshare's platform are under 60 minutes in length, which is great for all us busy creative people out there. A course that I dove into yesterday on Skillshare is called Customizing Type, Creating Word Marks That Work. Now, one interesting thing that I found out is that this is the same exact guy that I took classes from in college. Now, of course, I didn't take classes from him personally, but my graphic design professors in college used his courses to teach us at Texas A&M University, where I paid tons of money. And so the good news is for you guys that the same exact content that I paid a ton of money for in college is available for free at Skillshare. For the first 1,000 people that click the link down in the description, you guys will get a free trial membership of Skillshare Premium, which unlocks all access to the Skillshare platform. And so if you want to learn anything in the video production, photography, graphic design realm, or of course, branch off into the more business development, like the class called Creating Habits That Last Real Productivity, make sure you guys click that link down below to check out Skillshare. So big thanks to Skillshare for sponsoring this video, but I say we hop back on the front deck. And of course, now that we've learned how to be successful creatives and graphic designers, photographers, I say I learned how to be a successful, gosh dang, fisherman. Come on. Yeehaw. Gosh, there's one. Oh, he train wrecked it. That's a big one. I did feel the bait shift in his mouth, and I don't like the sound of that, or the feel of that. It's a big one. Not like huge, but bigger than my first one. I gotta follow him to the back. Oh, nope, he wants to go back this way. Oh, yes. Hello, fish. Oh, he hit it once, missed it, and I just kept reeling, and he came right back for it. Don't you get off. This is a hard fighting fish, let me tell you. You know what, I've got a net. What am I doing? I'm a goof. I should be netting my big fish. There we go. And he's in the net. I like my new boat. Look at this guy. Look at this dude. Look at this stinking fatty. Oh, am I recording? I am recording. Am I recording back here? Light's pretty dang dark, so I turned it up there. Look at this fish. Oh, he ate that lipless crankbait. Yep, it was literally barely hooked once again. Not a huge one, but probably pushing 4 pounds. Beautiful, chunky, pre-spawn bass right there. Oh, that's what I live for, man. Not really, I live for Jesus, but this is the activity that I live for. That's awesome. Gonna get a weight on this bad boy. Probably get a nicer picture with the camera. It is, yep, 4.09, Connect Scale official. Love it. 4-pounder, a Texas 4-pounder. Whew, I feel good. I'll do a little happy dance. Well, what a beautiful way to start 2021. And in the new boat, how about that? See you, big girl. What a day, what a day. Only 2 fish, but you know what? I'm happy with that. I'm happy that I got back in the groove. I filmed a video that had an ad in it. I'm getting back into the groove of being a YouTuber. And of course, we got 3 videos a week all year long coming here to the channel. We're gonna have upgraded graphics. We're gonna have a brand new intro coming at some point. Can't guarantee it yet. So make sure you guys are subscribed to the channel. That way you never miss another video. And we'll see you next time right here in this boat or on the shore on TRF.